Welcome back to the Wanna Parlay podcast. I'm Lance Bell. Next to me is Jack Neuheisel. Jack, go ahead and tell the folks about the beautiful people that sponsor this podcast.
Lance, I'm going to do just that. But first, I have to showcase some of the sweet new Wanna merch that I've gotten outfitted with here. I got a nice little shirt. I'm going to call it Eggshell with some purple font. I'm feeling pretty sexy wearing it, which is a rare trait for me. And then a nice little lid as well. I thought it was going to be bright and purple and I wasn't going to be wearing it anywhere. No, it's a nice understated black lid. I'll be wearing it early and often. I'm fucking stoked. Quick promise to the crowd. I'm going to do some digging, see where you guys can track this gear down, and we will have promo codes and all sorts of stuff. As trusty listeners of the pod, you guys deserve bigger and better. We're going to fucking get it for you. This show, as always, is brought to you by Wanna Parlay, home of the $2 parlay and the world's richest parlay, where every day people are turning $2 into $2,000. It is the place where we make parlays for the working man, because that's who we are and that's who we care about. We are at the midpoint of our Wanna week, and the boys and girls of Wanna Parlay are already rocking and rolling, Lance. We have some special shout-outs to deliver, as always. The pick'ems have slowed down, but the pick four is getting busy. Scarcella 17. We've been hearing that name a lot recently, winning $200. Molina Picks takes up 175. Canes 026, our boy Art, we're going to be hanging with at the drop takeover, makes 150. Chase G16 125, good to be good. And then can't leave out the Tuesday nighters. Roro 1850, $200. Stay hot, Roro. It's his third time in the last week getting in a pick four leaderboard. We are actually stoked to have him on the show later today. Hear what he has to say. And then one Mad Raider officially ending the drought. Hard to call it a drought when it's only 5 days, our boy, but $175. You just can't hold him down for long. One David Smerling is a good man. Parlay Royale. Welcome back to the party, Mr. Doorman. He's got HR problems, apparently. That's why he refuses to come on the show. But fuck, I'm curious as to how he does it, how he pulls it off. Sneaky basketball guy. I'm pretty sure he's from North Dakota. Crazy people. But wins $1,000, is officially up over 5K on Wanna Parlay. It's good to be good. And then the main event, Elock still hanging on tight with the 131.27 starter. Sit tight for the rest of the podcast, and we'll give you the picks to go buy this guy. This should be your 2K, and we lack a lot of NFL shit to bet on this weekend. So you need Lance and I. Make sure to stick around till the end. And then before we get on with the podcast, a quick reminder, the drop takeover on February 10th at Little Joe's in Chicago is coming up and rapidly approaching. Wanna Parlay will be in the house with KG, Art, and Bob, as will the good folks of El Bandito Tequila. Come join us anytime you're around from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. We are very much looking forward to that. And without further ado, Lance, let's do the podcast.
All righty. Well, as any of our good podcasts have gone, we start with accountability time, and I'm a little upset about mine, so let's start with yours, Jack.
I do okay. The ones, when you pressed me on it that I doubled down on and said those were good, I'll hit. So I feel good about it. I had to carry the Georgetown game, which I would have hammered. It started before we got off the show, and they were already getting blown out. So that one was embarrassing. I'll say this. I went back and watched the highlights. St. John's is real. The Johnnies are a real team. Very excited to bet on them and Rick Pitino. Rick Pitino's their head coach.
Oh, that was the old Louisville guy, right?
Louisville coach, yeah. Mm-hmm. So one of the greats in my lifetime in college basketball anyway. So very interesting team to keep an eye out for come tournament time. Georgia minus 7.5 for South Carolina. They win by 11, piece of cake. Kentucky plus 10.5 on the road. We knew it was too many points. They end up winning the game outright, 78-73. Minnesota plus 15 at Michigan State. I need to come around to Sparty and how good this team is. They don't fit the mold of Michigan State teams I remember in the past, but they're damn good. They win this game 73-51, beat the hell out of Minnesota, and this game was never close. We were hanging around 15 points the whole time, so I thought maybe we'd get a sneaky backdoor, but we were getting blown out the whole game. And then Pitt minus 2. We had a killer last 5 minutes of this game. We were losing by 3. End up winning this game 73-65, covering easily. So overall 3-2. You made money if you went with me. Apologies for Georgetown. That sucks. But then Lance, thankfully it was a parlay, so you weren't too exposed. If they took all your picks and all my picks, you end up going home with even money. So
quickly, the podcast wasn't over by the time that Georgetown game got off, so it's like I'd be okay with a void there. I mean, no one got in. I was safe. And as for my bets, yeah, that was brutal. Rockets money line at Hawks. that one I felt it was a given. Rockets are honestly hot, and that's another team I'm looking out for tonight.
Big game
Lakers,
tonight
yeah,
at the Grizzlies, right?
yep.
Yeah.
And then Lakers money line at 76ers. I knew this one was dicey, but there's no Paul George, no Embiid. It looked too sweet, but then Tyrese Maxey drops 44. I think he had 20 plus in the first quarter. He just absolutely destroyed us, and that included with an Anthony Davis injury. You're basically shit out of luck. And Bucks money line at Trailblazers, man. Trailblazers are fighting. Chauncey Billups. I mean, once the departure of Dame, they've kind of bought into this rebuild, and they've been holding on to Chauncey Billups for like now. I think this is his third season, and even though they've been bad, they've been holding on, trying to build, some pro. What do you call it? Some program tradition. What are we trying to
Culture?
Some culture. There we go. I couldn't get the word. Build some culture and see what they could do there with the pieces they have. A lot of young kids, and they beat the Bucks, which is brutal because Bucks are still in that 4th seed in the East, so they gotta still try to tack on some wins so they can get in that top 3 area and keep home court. But
so I like Lance. We were talking about the Pistons the other night, and why I could kind of get being excited by them just because it's fun to watch a young team grow. There's so much mobility all the time. Sometimes in these contenders, it's like, who do you even wrap your arms around? Who am I rooting for when I turn on the film? So I'm kind of all in on this Blazers team. I kind of think they're fun. And they keep trying to win. Like all of a sudden, I'm peeking their record. They're like 5 games back of 500, which is a huge departure from what they've been. Like where it's been like lost at sea basically within 10 games of the season to start every year. So stoked. And to clarify, these were Tuesday night picks, right? So they're not on a back-to-back tonight. Yeah, no. I've got them. We'll get to it at the end of the show, but I'm going a couple NBA picks tonight, and I like the Blazers at home against the Magic.
I saw that. I didn't want to say anything that was brought up. So we're gonna be at war there. We're on other sides.
Yeah, you're gonna be able to torch me on the NBA. I'm trying to get involved.
No, hey, I mean, we'll see.
I want to get picks.
We'll see. I love it. But yeah, that rounds it out for me. 1-2, 0-1 on the parlay. Wasn't great. David Smerling, what's up, boys? Hope all is well. You're a legend. David Smerling, I hope you're well. I know you're well, actually. We just talked about you being back in the winner's circle. That 5-day drought might have been too long for you, but that's pretty good. KG Little Joes, what's up, gents? My parlay picks are so bad right now, I couldn't even hit a blind person right now. Well, holy shit, KG, I don't want you walking around hitting blind people, but no, hey, that's why you're here. We're going to give you the right picks. We're going to get you right on the right track. Go ahead, Jack.
If that's a drought for Smerling, this guy is a delicate flower in terms of high maintenance watering. I'm like a damn camel. I'll go weeks. I'll go 40 days and nights in the fucking desert.
Yeah,
I'll do it.
I'm a cactus. I can go generations without water. That's hilarious. So, yeah, let's move on. Oh, go ahead.
Just real quick, just peek. I want to set up our next deal, but I just want to peek our waiting room and make sure we're not leaving row.
We're clear. We're clear. He says 5 days is a lot.
Fantastic. Well, Lance, I just had to get this off my chest because all of a sudden today I saw that the skills challenge for the NFL was starting, for the Pro Bowl was starting, and then they're going to take off Friday, Saturday, and then play the Pro Bowl Sunday. The Pro Bowl sucks. The Pro Bowl sucks. As where I'm going to lead this conversation to, I'm not watching the Pro Bowl this weekend. I'm watching the Senior Bowl. The Pro Bowl as it stands now, Lance, needs to abandon its current format. They've got the passing, like if you go to these skills challenges, passing the test, satisfying catches, the big spike, relay race, helmet harmony, dodgeball, punt perfect, Madden 25 competition, the great football race, and tug of war. None of this it's all backwards, shitty, and the game has gotten bad. We don't even really live tackle anymore. Let's abandon the game altogether, and let's just make this about fun. You've already decided this is going to be about content. You're trying to make this a fun and drive viewership and make it fun for the fans and do all that. Make it fun for the fans. There one day where they do the fun activities, the public isn't allowed to even attend the events.
No way.
It's a closed practice. So it's like What in God's name are we talking about? So here's my proposal, Lance, and I think you're really going to dig it.
All right.
AFC still versus NFC.
Mm-hmm.
Keep the conferences going. I want basically within there, you have to set up. We'll come up with multiple events, and you have to use every person on your team at least once. But we set up a multi-sport challenges throughout it, and whoever has the most points at the end of it wins. I want zero football. I don't ever want to see a football near this thing. I could see a pickup basketball game is as far as I want, like as to like a recreational, like we got multiple bodies on the field. I'm thinking home run derby. Let's see a couple guys crank some balls out.
Yeah.
These are world-class athletes. Dunk contest, have to see it.
That would be sick. That would be insane, especially with like the Myles Garretts of the world and all those guys. Yeah. Keep going.
3-point contest, just because what the hell, we're playing hoops. Want to see some of these guys that think they're dual sport athletes, because they talk shit about this all the time. Let's get nuts. High dive, 10 meters. We got real Olympic judges there. Whoever can actually execute, it would be a blast. Rather than the game, golf tournament. I know Adam Thielen can play. I know all these quarterbacks can play. Golf tournament, and mic it up, and we'll play for prizes. The only other thing I was thinking about, I don't think any of this could ever put anybody at risk of getting injured. This is the only one that would get a little dicey. We hear DK Metcalf and Tyreek Hill talk shit all the time about who's faster. 100-meter dash every year.
Yeah, dude.
The fastest guy in the league, 100-meter dash. Let's go.
These would be insane. This would easily surpass any of the major sports all-star weekends, because they're all garbage. I mean, this would
be fantastic. And these guys all have their own podcasts now. They all talk shit about being the best at these random events. We never get to see it play out. I would gamble all over this, let alone let's put it in Vegas and let the athletes gamble on it. Let's do that. Like
this is the one thing in football they can gamble on, the NFL athletes.
Yeah, because you're not playing football.
Yeah. So you're right.
You want to run the 100-meter, DK and Tyreek want to put up $100,000 each. Let's run it. Let's see it.
Wow, dude. I mean, this is one of this and college football 2.0 have been your best ideas on this show, because this is that I feel like the rest of America agrees, would definitely watch this. Like, you would actually tune in. You'd be curious. Like the amount of hype you could build behind the 100 meters, the amount of hype you could build around the dunk contest, because it's just, I mean, that's hilarious. Home run derbies. Imagine you had a guy like Kyler. I mean, Kyler was first, top pick in the MLB draft. Imagine him. Russell Wilson was another one of those cats. He was just get out there, boom. Oh, that'd be so fun. No, I mean,
it'd be incredible.
No, that's good stuff. Because throughout all the is it 4 major sports you'd call it? Basketball, football, yeah. None of the none of the all-star weekends are good. The home run derby is entertaining. That one, because that's a given. But the 3-point contest,
the skills competition.
Yeah, the skills is the 3-point. I'm like, all right, I guess I want to see it.
Every February, we got to give Mac McClung a 10-day contract.
I was just getting to that point. I'm like, do I need to go see Mac McClung? Just like, don't get me wrong, he can throw down, and I appreciate him doing it. But let's get some guys in there. Let's get Zion. Let's get Jaylen Brown. Let's force them. And I'm done with them having a fucking choice. You're employed by the NBA, goddammit. Force them into it.
So I almost don't even want to say my last little idea, because this has all been about fun. I just want to end it right there. But I did have one thought. These high school football all-star games, formerly the Army All-American game or the Under Armour game, now it's the Navy All-American game. Let's get one premier one. And instead of if we're not going to get the golf tournament on Sunday, let's get that high school showcase on the Sunday and have the players on hand. Get the players with the kids, get some clinic moments. Because the little known fact about the NFL, there are more undrafted players than there are first-round players on active rosters. So it's a league of overachievers. I think in terms of getting content, you're going to get all the fun shit. I think that would be some powerful stuff to hear from some Pro Bowl undrafted guys about It's not about the 5 stars because you're talking to a bunch of 5-star kids. It's about overachieving. I think it would resonate with some guys, and you'd save some lives in there.
No,
Because everyone in
that would
there
be cool.
is I've been in some, we've talked about the shitty football teams I've coached in terms of just the level and honestly the wins and losses. But regardless of what college locker room you're in, everyone thinks they're going to the NFL. And so few of them are. It's a league of overachievers. If you think that's your path, that would be, I think, a worthwhile conversation. So I think that would be fun.
No, that's another good idea because it's like, I mean, those kids will go bang around and fight for their lives. I know they're already made it to the NFL, so the Pro Bowl becomes this weird. It's just like the NBA. I mean, well, the NBA already has its own problems, but like the All-Star game is just so weak. It's because you can't get anyone to care. You can't incentivize, but
like I remember you watch all these football lives and hear about like, oh, I was a backup on this team and Jake Delhomme put his arm around me, or whoever the veteran quarterback was, Rich Gannon put his arm around me. Just really showing off now. But like, imagine, you're a high school quarterback and you just get to go 15 minutes with Josh Allen on here's what I wish I knew when I was your age. Fuck.
Yeah.
We're trying to like, Europe kicks our ass in their academy shit. They've got a great, like, everyone's getting better all the time. It feels like over there. We're fucking AAU'd out over here. At times it feels like. I'm not anti-America. I'm just saying it's it's an American value to say we can do better and we can. Pro Bowl sucks.
I will say, I mean, Europe does a lot of things that they'll ship their kid off. They're like, hey, get out. you return to me in 17 years. You're 1 year old. I'm shipping you out. Go be a great soccer player and come pay me. When you'll thank me then. So
kids start walking to school in Japan when they're 5, Lance. We can do better.
That's so awesome. Oh, KG Little Joes. I don't even want to read this, but I do have to. Speaking of NBA, see Bronny go 0 for 0 over again is what he. That Philadelphia rookie set a record by blocking a father and son duo in the NBA for the first time. I mean, you're just looking for anything, KG.
You know what? KG, we got a Lakers game on later tonight, and I'm excited to talk about this. I'm going to table my emotion and my thoughts and my response until we get to that point.
Yeah, we will be bringing up NBA again. But Jack, so great ideas about the Pro Bowl, but obviously nothing's going to be fixed, so we're not going to be watching. But I know you have something else in mind, and I know you got a lot of knowledge behind it, so I want to hear you talk about.
I think there's some, so I'm big. Not a lot of people watch the Senior Bowl. If you like the NFL draft, which by the way, the numbers will prove we all do. The NBA draft gets better ratings than does any other sport. The NBA draft outdoes your best NBA Finals game.
That's
just by
insane.
the way, in terms of the TV rating. So we like the NFL draft. This is kind of the early start on it, where you can start to foresee and get excited. Because if you're a real NFL fan, you want to start thinking about your second, third round picks and these fun guys that could end up being difference makers for you. We just brought up the stat that there's more undrafted guys in the league than there are first round picks. You find golds a lot in these rounds, so it's fun. We got a lot of first rounders there too. But I've talked to some guys on hand at the Senior Bowl, and here's been kind of the consensus takeaways. Number one, the quarterbacks suck. I've heard Jackson Dart, Dylan Gabriel, Jalen Milroe, Riley Leonard, Seth Hennigan are all been underwhelming. The surprise of that group, Seth Hennigan from Memphis has been the most consistent passer of that group. Shedeur, Cam Ward, Will Howard, Kyle McCord, all obviously not there. But my takeaway from this, and we'll get to this when we get closer to the draft and we can find some betting angles, but if you're betting on the NFL draft and the stocks of some of these guys, there's a big group that want to tell you that Jackson Dart or Quinn Ewers is going to sneak up to the end of the first round. I do not see them going until late third. So I'm a big fader of that whole idea. And then obviously this year, we can all agree as a down quarterback class overall. I know we can get excited about Cam Ward and talk ourselves into that. But then on top of that, of course, what makes sense is the running back class, Lance, is fucking unbelievable. I've been told half these guys in Mobile right now look the part. I'm just going to rattle off a couple of names here. RJ Harvey at UCF. I've fallen in love with the guy. If you look at his numbers next to Ashton Genty over the course of a career, you might shock yourself. His average at basically the same yards per carry the whole time. I think he's a better receiver. Very, very interesting draft prospect. Devin Neal from Kansas, absolute baller. Trevor Etienne from Georgia, running behind a less dominant O-line at Georgia than years past. It's been super impressive there. Marcus Yarns, dude, this kid from Delaware is going to be like a 6th or 7th round draft pick, but fuck can he play. My boy Brashard Smith from SMU. He's been a receiver for the last 3 years and a return specialist. All of a sudden found gold as a running back, but that makes him that dynamic kind of switch play, that third down back that you can do a lot of shit with, your Pacheco's of the world. So I think he's getting drafted. Ollie Gordon from Oklahoma State, 233 pounds and runs smooth, is freaking everybody out at the Senior Bowl. And this is all, I got through those names, Lance. Here's names I didn't say, guys that aren't at the Senior Bowl that I think are all getting drafted here. Ashton Jeanty, Scadaboo, Travion Henderson, Quinshon Junkins, the Singleton kid from Penn State, Jordan James from Oregon, Caleb Johnson from Iowa, Omarion Hampton from UNC, Dylan Sampson from Tennessee, Jade Knott from Cal, Khalil Mullings and Donovan Edwards from Michigan, Damian Martinez from Miami. I think all those kids get drafted. So if you're an NFL team right now and you think you have running back issues, you're good. You're going to get it fixed and be fine this year. And then some teams where it's like, oh, they got to take a running back in the first round. Like everyone said, the Cowboys and GNT is like a foregone conclusion. There's no fucking way the Cowboys can take a running back in the first round. They've got too many problems, and there's gold to be found in all these rounds. That's another guy to pay attention to. Might be a slider. Might be not be going in the first half of the first round. Might be going in the 20s.
Interesting, dude. There's so many names you just named.
Apologies if you're a running back and I didn't say your name because I basically canvassed the entire draft right there.
Dude, I mean, some of the guys that you listed that aren't in the, like, Judkins, that guy is Singleton. Singleton, I think, opted to stay, didn't he?
Oh, okay. So Singleton may have opted to stay. I think Junkins obviously announced he was coming out. Yeah. These are guys they just went through the draft.
No, yeah. I think I'm only saying the Singleton one because I think him, Aller, and the other kid, I think they're all trying to run it back. But
yeah, I'll tell you this though, I would have loved to talk to Quinshon Junkins and just say like, dude, let's go make $4 million next year in college football and be a first round pick the next year.
Yeah, like because there's so many running backs. But he played super well in the playoffs. He kind of earned,
he jacked his stock up. All of a sudden, he's not going to get past the second round. Like, fucking let it rip. But shit, man, this is a loaded running back class.
This is insane
to see all these guys succeeding. Like a Bucky Irving would have been lost in this group.
Yeah,
and he's great.
Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm like, holy shit. I'm interested to see which one of these kids gets left out. One of these kids is not in the NFL in the next couple of years.
Yeah, it's gonna be like because they're the no-name guys on this. I'm like, fuck, Marcus Yarns from Delaware, bro, can play.
I haven't seen any of that tape, and I'm honestly excited to go see it because he said, I mean, if it's a running back from Delaware and you're that excited, he must have something there. He must have. Yeah, he must be special. Yeah, checking the waiting room. We're still clear. We're still empty.
We're still chilling. Well, I tell you what, you got NBA, so I could just motor through my college basketball picks real quick, and then we'll circle back and close the NBA.
Let me read the chat real quick. David Smerling was to our defense. He says LeBron is killing it for a 40-year-old. He could play 5 more years if he wanted, and then also followed up with a good O-line can make any running back look good. O-line is the most important thing in the pros. They open holes for running backs and give time to the quarterback. David Smerling, you're spot on with that. I mean, any great running back will tell you that their they think their O-line. Any great quarterback, they think their O-line. They buy them gifts and whatever they want because those are the real heroes, the trenches.
Great teams, Lance, are built through the middle. We start with the trenches and the quarterback, and then we work our way out.
Yep.
Hey, with the guys that are close to the football.
Yep. And that's what a guy like Harbaugh, I mean, he comes into the Chargers. He was looking at 2 guys at his draft position. Joe Alt, Brian Thomas, that phenomenal running back out of LSU. Is he junior?
Yes.
Yeah, Brian Thomas Jr. He could have taken the wideout. All-time great. He had no wideouts. He had, at that time, just QJ. Not even Lad McConkey yet. But build from the line of scrimmage. Go out. Just like Jack said, went ahead, got Alt. Now they have 2 great tackles for the next 10 years. And there's always great receivers the year after. So you're 100% right, David Smerling. O-line. Oh, he says real quick, snaps in here. Ohio State versus Penn State is about to start. Who do you guys got? College basketball.
Ooh, let me motor my college basketball picks because I have that game in here.
Oh, all right. Go ahead.
So I'll hit that one first. I'm taking Ohio State plus 3.5 at Penn State. I'm all over Big Ten hoops tonight, but massive game in that one for both teams who are trying to make the field in March, Lance. This becomes, I believe, a quad 1 game for Ohio State because it's on the road, quad 2 game for Penn State. I just like this Ohio State team too much, if I'm being honest. So it's a little bit of a homer pick, but I just think they battle, which means for me, they're built for games like this that are going to be close and we got to win and we're going to have the big environment, all that stuff. And then just gun to my head, I think Ohio State's making the field and I think Penn State's going to be accepting an NIT invitation. So I'm in Ohio State winning this one outright.
Hey, David Smerling said, yes, let's go. He was fired up about that, but I got to stop you. Our waiting room is filled. Bring him in.
Fantastic.
Bring him in.
Please bring him on.
Bring him in. There he is. Can you hear us?
What's up, man? How are y'all?
Oh, there you go.
What's going on, bro? How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Dude, thank you so much for coming on. Is there any way we can get you to turn the camera on?
Yeah, for sure. 1 second, dog. My bad.
We catch a hard time every now and again from our boss when we
and then horizontal, and then we're good. Oh, almost.
Can y'all see me?
Yep, there he is.
Perfect.
Dude, so I've been fired up to get you on to talk about this. So just to catch Lance and everybody else up to speed right here, you just won the pick 4 on Tuesday night, rattling that one off. It's your third pick 4 leaderboard in a week right now, and you've been on the app for a little bit now. That puts you up $2,375 on Wanna Parlay all time, and that's far more than you would have made playing anywhere else. So first question out of the gate is just how are you feeling? How does it feel to be in the winner's circle?
Dude, it honestly feels great, man. Like, honestly, I love the Wanna Parlay app. Like, when I first got it, I started off pretty hot, and that's what, like, kept me coming back. I was like, okay, this is pretty good. And then I went on kind of a little down slump like everybody does in sports betting. Everybody misses that one pick here and there. But honestly, it was just a hot week this week. I just threw in my picks on, I think it was Sunday, and then I won that pick 4, and then I won, I think, 275 on Tuesday, and then another 200 on Wednesday.
Just cleaning up right now. It's good to see, especially because a bunch of those pick'ems have gotten quiet. So it's hard to get on that pick 4 leaderboard and make the big money. And you're just cleaning it up right now. Lance, if you can see his actual parlay, I gotta ask what your fandom is and what your sports background is, because I like your where you're spread out here. You went under 6.5 in the Blackhawks Lightning game, so you got a little hockey. That one was 3-1 headed into the final minute. You get an empty netter, but for the most part, easy, no sweat there. Kentucky plus 10.5 at Tennessee. I love it. Was all over it on this show. Kentucky wins that one outright. Never sweating.
Yeah, they went crazy on that one.
Yeah. Loving that Kentucky team, by the way. Bunch of like mid-major all-stars. I don't know if there's an NBA guy on the roster, but love that team. Then you go Oklahoma plus 8.5 at Texas A&M. You kind of had a sweaty final minute of that game because
I was watching that game, man. I'm telling you, I had it on my phone because my girl was watching TV. I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, come on. I got that final minute. I'm like, dude, come on. I just need y'all to win, be in the under 8.5.
Dude, and then you get the big 3 from Goodine to cut it to 4. And I was like, oh, this is free throws and we're good. We're out of here.
Yes. Oh, man. I was clutching my freaking phone on that one. Like, let's go.
So, and then you close it out with a pick only Lance would have. Alperen Sengun under 15.5 assists, rebounds. You get 10 and 2, easy piece of cake there. So you got a little NBA, some good big time college, and you got the NHL. Explain it.
So honestly, like, I've just recently started getting into hockey. I haven't been much of a big fan of it. I mean, I'm not a big fan. I just never really was into it growing up until recently. And same with college basketball. There's so many games going on, dude. And with college basketball, like, same thing with college football. Like, you can think someone's going to win, and then, like, the Cinderella story happens, and you're like, where did these people come from?
Dude, like, no question. And like now, like, I think college football's gotten so improved by transfer portal and NIL, but college basketball, it's made the parity great. You get all these like kind of senior, junior teams. Like there are 20 teams right now I could talk myself into making a run in March. And that's without like anyone making fireworks and just coming from, out of the dark. So I'm fired up around college basketball right now.
No, I love college basketball. Like honestly, my main where I hit heavy on my bets is during football season because like that's like my main sport. Like, I can go in depth with all the detailed stats you need to go about that. But that's where I mainly make my money. But with the Super Bowl coming up next weekend, so it's just like it's kind of died down. So now I'm like branching out, starting to do my more research into the sports I'm not like fully equipped knowledge wise on. But like with soccer, like I'm from Germany originally, so like I love soccer. So like it's just that one's an easy one for me to
Oh
understand.
shit, dude. We gotta now I'm gonna bug you even more because now we need a soccer insider. We're gonna have to bring you back on the show and explain to us what the hell we're doing. Because we're in the same boat. We just had a conversation off the show where we're like, dude, what are we doing after football season? So I'm getting big in college hoops. Lance has got us covered on the NBA. We got an NHL kid we bring on the show. You gotta get us right on soccer.
Hey man, anytime y'all have me, I'll be welcome, man.
Yeah, I love it. Hey, let me ask you this question because you're cleaning up on Warner right now. You've made like $600 in the last 2 weeks. Have you been telling anybody about the wins, or people at work or your buddies hearing about this? And are you driving any traffic over to Warner?
Oh, 100%. I've already I referred my girlfriend. I've referred like 3 of my best friends already because they were on like Underdog, Prize Picks, all those other sports betting apps. And like, no, dude, like check out One Parlay. Like it's not like you're not you're doing a flat fee to enter, and like you're winning off of points, not how much money you're betting, is not how much you're gonna get returned. Like you just have to beat the person who is in that place you want. Exactly. And it's so simple. Like you could win a whole parlay just betting on straight kickers over under if they're making their kicking points.
Dude, you said it, and we talk about it all the time. Lance and I can't legally bet on Wana, so we go sprinkle it, but we can't win. So like, anytime it gets paid out, and it drives me crazy because I have to get exposed now on my real betting. Like I can't go and do these $2, lose 20, and be like, okay, fun weekend. Like it's like you gotta go take it. Wana, you could lose 20 bets, you lose $40. Who cares? You still make rent that month. You know?
Yeah, 100%, man. Like, because you're doing for the main event, like the $2 entry tickets. Like, you can make 100 picks, 100 different legs on that one. And it's like it's only $2. And like, like I set myself like a limit every week. Like, all right, I'll mess around. I got $100 for one parlay this week. If I hit, I'm gonna keep going. If I lose it, like, all right, I'll have my little comfort zone. Like, all right, it's okay for today because there's always tomorrow. There's events every day. You don't have to wait for the weekend, every other weekend.
1,000%, dude. So you're now up 2,375, like we said at the top of the interview. So final question, as always, what everyone wants to know is how you planning on spending the money. Hope it's not going to all responsible things. I hope you're having some fun with it.
Oh no. Like a lot of my winnings from One Parlay is mainly my fun money.
There you go.
Let's go.
It's that side income, that passive income right there. But that is my fun money, man. It's awesome. Like you get to go out more, get to hang out with friends more. Like, oh man, I mean, it's not really worrying about the money aspect of it. It's just like I love sports so much, and if I can make money off of my knowledge off of it, oh dude, sign me up.
Dude, there's nothing like proving yourself right, and there's nothing like creating a little bit of juice in a game that otherwise you wouldn't care about. Like all of a sudden, I'm all in on that Kentucky-Tennessee game the other night. Yeah.
Like even now, I can see all my friends I've referred. Like if we're doing a pick 4, pick 6, I can see them going like, all right, I see where you're at. Like, I'm gonna mess with you. I got you.
Yeah, 100%. And then out of nowhere, like all of a sudden, me and Lance have made buddies from bringing some of these guys on the show. We got our guy Raider in the chat right now, who's like, the guy's a custodian in Wisconsin. He's making more money at Wana than he's making at his job. He's the nicest guy ever. We're like, fuck yeah, dude, let it rip. I'm checking his picks every night. Like, what's Raider doing? That guy's making more money than I am.
Right. No, dude, I think there was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think his name was like Long Legs or something on one part. That man cleaned the house on the main event. I was like, what the hell? I was in shock.
You ready for me to hurt your feelings and also maybe inspire your girl to get going on it? Is Long Legs is a lady. That's Viviana.
No shit.
Yeah.
Hey, all power to you, girl, man. She fucking cleaned house.
Yeah. Well, dude, we won't take any more of your time, but we're going to be bugging you often when you're back in the winner's circle, which I'm sure will be very soon. And
I got my pick 6 tonight and my pick 4 tonight, so we're waiting.
Hell yeah! What favorite pick of the night, if we can tail you?
Let's see. I'm gonna probably do my. Let me pull it up real quick. So my pick 4 for tonight is I doubled it up because I'm very confident, so I didn't even change.
Love it. I love it.
I got the spread for Stony Brook to cover against Charleston, which they're up 11 right now, so that's awesome.
Let's rip.
The Blackhawks to cover the spread of 2.5 with the Hurricanes, and then I got the Rockets, Jalen Green over 22.5, and then Amon Thompson under 17.5.
Let's go.
All right.
A little cool off night.
All right.
Cool off night for man. I love it. Well, this was Row 1850. Our guy Ronique Williams from Texas. Dude, so nice to meet you, Ro.
And nice to meet you.
Absolutely, Brad. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much for coming on.
Yes, sir, man. Y'all have a good night.
Absolutely. Take it easy.
What a guy. What a legend.
Fucking hitter, dude. I love when we get winners on the show.
Yes.
He's a fucking winner. And I also appreciate, not to mention, like, fucking, hey, you got responsibilities and we can help you pay those. Absolutely knock them out. We've had guys pay for swing sets for their kids.
Yeah.
We've had some mortgage payments, some student loans get dealt with. But I like a guy that's just slinging them on some beers and some times with some buddies now.
You gotta love it.
Let the paychecks sort out the fucking problems. Let your fun money go to some fun.
Yeah, hey, if you're having fun making the money, might as well use the money for fun. I mean,
there you go.
Fun's already in there. Oh, KG Little Joe's real quick. I've got another Wanna Parlay player, C. Folsky on Wanna, sitting next to me at the bar right now. Well, KG.
Folsky wins money. I like Folsky's money.
Oh, so you've seen Folsky. I was going to say, Folsky. I don't know if I've seen Folsky.
KG's boys. It's between Folsky and then Canes. Canes won more money this week. Our boy Art from the Drop Takeover. KG boys, the Joe's boys are freaking for real.
Oh, so we got some winners over there. All right, KG. Well, next time they win, I want them on this show with you. I want a duo, little one screen right there. Well, get right. It's going to be beautiful. We got beautiful things coming. All right. So where were we? We were in the middle of going through your picks. Your picks.
I got to motor through the rest of the college hoops. Then I want to talk NBA with you, and then we'll get the heck out. Other ones: Illinois -4.5 at Nebraska. Okay, I'll be honest. The Vegas math is against me here. So fade me if you want, but because this line sucks. Illinois should be minus more. So it's kind of that nudge. They're begging me to take Illinois. It's really going to be Nebraska. But there's no weird numbers amongst the betting public. I really think they just got this thing fucking wrong. I'm taking Illinois. They've had an average January. They're kind of on the get right, come up right now. They're coming off a big win against Northwestern. I think they continue to get right tonight. Nebraska, after beating UCLA at home, has been just shit. So I like the Illini to continue to get right and kind of motor tonight. I bet this number hangs around 7, and then we win with some free throws. We get out with a 9 or 10 point win. And then let me get 2 more college picks in there, Lance. Oregon +4.5 at UCLA. Also shitty line, playing some logic here. Oregon has found their struggles as of late, Lance. They've lost 2 of their last 3. They're back on the West Coast tonight after taking an East Coast road trip, and they've had 4 days off. And their style of play, they're hyper athletic and they're physical and they get up and down the floor. The Bruins have gotten over their hilarious little down spell as of late. They've had a couple big time wins, 3 in a row, I think. But I see them tonight against this Oregon team that's going to be physical and fucking playing some bully ball. And I just see them a teapot getting ready to boil over. I think they're mentally soft. I think this basketball team, it's indicative of the entire institution, and they're all mentally weak over there at UCLA. Fucking happy to say it. So yeah, rolling with Oregon tonight. Go Ducks.
Hey, go Ducks. Hey, wait. Go Ducks.
Tell your boy Papa.
Hey, Papa's fired up. I know that. I'll let him know. Right here.
And then so we got there. I already talked about the Big O getting right against Penn State tonight. And then don't ask, Montana -3.5 versus Portland State. It's just don't ask. Go Grizz. It's a big game in the Big Sky, and the Grizz don't lose those at home. There we go. Now let's talk NBA. Take me to what you're thinking, because I've got some counters.
Yep. All right. I like. Oh, I didn't write out the matchups, but I like Rockets +5.5 against the Grizzlies.
Yep. I got you covered on the matchups.
Okay, I got T-Wolves -5.5 against the Jazz.
Jazz, yeah.
Magic -5.5 at Trailblazers.
At Blazers.
And then Hawks +10.5 at Cavs. All right, let me go through a little bit. Rockets. Dude, the Rockets, I mean, they win games. They've been hot. They keep it close. They don't get blown out because they have such fresh legs every night. So my thing with the Grizzlies, I'm like, if the Rockets make it a game, just keep it close. I honestly think the Rockets will win outright, but just keep it close. Just keep it close.
The Rockets right now, Lance, remind me of like a hyper athletic like Heat of a couple of years ago, where it's like they're getting the most out of these draft picks and they really are playing hard every night in an NBA regular season, which is seemingly a super rare trait. They feel like a very safe team to bet on because it doesn't feel like they're going to get down nights from them. So I love Rockets action here. They're getting 5.5. I think it's a back-to-back, but I dig the Rockets here.
Yeah, I can't remember. No, because I think did Rockets
right,
play? Yes, I think they played
right.
Tuesday. Okay, sweet.
Yeah,
right.
I
I had to check that one. That one was a little scary because I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. T-Wolves -5.5 versus Jazz. This one's tough because it feels like it's one of those shitty lines that something stupid's gonna happen. You know, like the Jazz sneak out a win or something. But T-Wolves are coming off 4 in a row. And a lot of people were questioning that organization after they made the Randall and Big Bodega, whatever they call Cat, the big trade they made in the offseason. And they started out slow. They started out flat. It wasn't great. It didn't look pretty. They honestly got caught at a couple games under 500. But in the past month and a half, they've started to turn it up. They're getting better. They're 26-21 right now on a 4-game win streak. I think they got to just keep it going against the Jazz. Personally, that's what I think. So I like Timberwolves -5.5 here.
So I'm on a weird fade here. It's rare I put NBA picks down. In fairness, I put mine down before you did. Now I just have to fucking eat it because I feel wrong when I fade you in the NBA. But I know that Minnesota is on a back-to-back and that the head man was ejected last night in their win versus the Suns. So I think there's bad vibes. Also, fun fact, 80% of the public tonight is on Minnesota.
So I will say I took a sneak peek at your notes and I saw the 2 stats that you just mentioned, and it did scare me. I honestly almost just deleted the bet off. But I'm like, man, it's the fucking Jazz. I ain't scared of no Utah team. Lordy Market. I'm like, you know what? And this is one where I'm like, I do see your side. And I'm like, I wouldn't even hate it, but I just think the Timberwolves keep it going 5 in a row, keep the stretch. I don't know.
This is a boredom bet for me. This is stupid. This is stupid. Why am I? This violates all my principles and code of conduct. I don't bet on. That's
gotta happen sometimes. Maybe Laurie Markkinen comes in and he's the truth for you. It could, or they got that. Who is the SC kid? Isaiah Collier. That kid's actually been hooping in not only G League but actually in the league. So there's kids on Utah.
If maybes and butts were candies and nuts, Lance, we'd all have a very Merry Christmas. Okay?
All right, on to the next. But all right, next up, Magic -5.5 at Trailblazers. It's tough because we were just talking Chauncey Billups building a culture, Anthony Simons and DeAndre Ayton and Shaden Sharp. Like some of these kids, they're just fighting. They're young kids that have kind of gotten looked away from. The limelight's off of them now, and there's not much attention. They're just fighting. They're scrapping. They're trying to earn some money in the NBA. So
this is another full boredom bet for me, Lance, where it's just like, I fell in love with this Blazers team the other night watching it for your sake for the Bucks bet, where I was just like, I dig a team that tries in the NBA regular season.
That's
they appear
true.
to be trying.
No,
I came up with a lot of reasons why it was going to be the Blazers. I never even thought about the Magic. I just peeked the Magic schedule. This is a team that was on its way to starting the season as like a dark horse favorite in the East, and now they've kind of hit a dry spell. These are the games you have to go in and win. You have to go in and win impressively. And this is where you take a chance to get right. So boredom bet for me because I decided I like the Blazers on a Tuesday. But this is where I'm at.
So yeah, things I will say about this matchup. You're 100% right. The Magic need to start getting back because they had that dry spell where not only was it just Paolo Banchero hurt, Franz Wagner also got hurt. They're 2 guys. They're 2 wings. Same setup that they have over in Boston. Our 2 best players are 2 wing players. I think they're really good. I think they're going to bounce back. and that's why I have Magic minus 5.5. But it is the NBA. Anyone can beat anybody. That's why I can never hate the other side of a bet in the NBA, because I'm like, you're right. Anybody can beat anybody. Who knows what happens that night?
I don't know, man.
So we'll see.
If I was giving an elbow to our audience here, I'd say trust Lance, not me, on this shit. And Lord knows this podcast loves some Franny VODs, so we're in on Francis Wagner and the rest of the boys. But do with it what you will. If you're feeling like a crazy person, you feel like playing emotions, go nuts. Follow me. Trailblazers plus 5.5.
And then last but not least, Hawks plus 10.5 at Cavaliers. So the Cavaliers just had a statement, kind of just they went on a little slow stretch. They, I think, lost 2 or 3 games close to each other last week. Then they just came out and they handled someone last night. I gotta look real quick. I have it right here. The Heat. They beat the Heat by 20 points at Heat. So now tonight they go home and play a back-to-back against Hawks team that gets out and runs. I mean, the Hawks team, they play with a lot of pace, and they don't really get stuck where Cleveland's defense is as much of a factor because they're so spread out, and it's Trae Young just running around with his hair on fire. I like the Hawks to keep it close. I like plus 10.5. But if Trae Young doesn't play, get away from this bet. And those are my 4 NBA picks. I'm going to just rattle them off real quick. Oh, sorry. Rockets plus 5.5. Timberwolves minus 5.5. Magic minus 5.5. And Hawks plus 10.5. There it is.
Definitely got to monitor Trae Young. But if we do get Trae Young, I'm obsessed with that bet. Going to follow it. Love it. Need it.
Yep. Love it.
Thing I've learned in the NBA, balance, there's just constant balance. So you go off on a hot streaky night, like the stock, it's just going to keep kind of doing that number. So those, like the Houston Rockets, to me are a trustworthy bet usually, because I feel like that doesn't spike very much. We get kind of a consistent showing versus some of these teams that are just so up and down. I'm like, yeah, it's a little bit like all of a sudden I catch a 40-38 first quarter. I love to catch the live under.
Yeah.
Where it's like, now I'm going to get an 18-15 second quarter and I'm counting my money by halftime.
No, you're 100% right. And some of these teams, especially, a team like the Rockets, I know they're super young, like one of the youngest teams in the NBA, but these kids have been playing together for 2, 3, almost 4 years now. The young core, they've had the same coach because they've trusted Ime Udoka. His only problem, he's fucking one of the Boston Celtics governor's wives. It's the only reason why he was out of there, or he'd probably have multiple championships with the Celtics rather than that new adjustment they had with Missoula, because I think Ime Udoka is a better coach. Missoula, argument for another time. But yeah, some of these teams, it's ups and downs always. But the younger teams weirdly stay. It all depends, honestly. But the Rockets are legit. The Rockets are here to stay. They're going to be in the top 4, top 5 seed coming playoff time. So we'll see.
Brad Stevens stepped away to give Udoka that job. He was going to be the next great coach, still maybe. I was thinking about this watching college basketball the other night. Coastal teams, like, they're given their media and the politics, they're held to a different standard. The guy did nothing illegal. They Tiger Woods the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
It was a consensual relationship. What are we doing? You're just embarrassed by it? Now the Rockets get to collect him and go be great? Good for the Rockets. You're idiots in Boston.
Yeah,
Move
I mean,
get over yourself.
Those guys with a lot of money comes with a lot of ego, and if you're fucking one of their wives, I mean, it's brutal. What a brutal situation.
I'm watching a Xavier Creighton basketball game the other night, thinking about how much some West Coast and East Coast teams would love either of those head coaches, but both have slightly scandalous past. Scandalous being in big air quotes there, and so they're like untouchable. And it's like, again, just get over yourselves. Well, you know what, skeletons? Read the Bible. Anyway, Lance, right before we go, I wanted to make one last take because KG had brought up the Bronny James thing. Here's my take on all that. Lakers minus 8.5 tonight at the Wizards. This is the Bronny James redemption game. They tried to force feed him into a lineup after top back-to-back, and they were looking for some energy out of him after having a good G League stretch. It all goes to shit. Everyone's embarrassed. JJ Redick had to answer questions about it in the press conference. So now, how do we get Bronny James back in this game? You can't give him meaningful minutes again. The only choice is to blow this Wizards team out. So they're blowing this Wizards team out, and Bronny James is going to go 2 for 3. So yeah, I'm touching his overs as well.
I love it. I because it has to be, because that was brutal. It was that back-to-back. They're playing Philly, and not only are they playing Philly with like no Embiid or Paul George, Maxey was frying us, like was just destroying us single-handedly. So I understood the Bronny play, because Bronny, I mean, Maxey's a small guy, Bronny's a small guy, and Bronny's a hell of a defender for his size. So I was like, young legs, like you said, get him in, see what happens. And it's just brutal that it went so poorly, just so poorly.
They're gonna be up 20 going into the fourth, and we're gonna get 5 minutes of Bronny and LeBron sharing the court together, and we're gonna get Bronny some buckets. Calling it. Lakers easy cover tonight, -8.5.
I hope so. Let me read some of the chat here. We got our 2 guys firing. KG Little Joe's. I like the Cavs under 240.5. Orlando -5.5. Washington's Coulibaly over 12.5 points. And Minnesota over 224.5 points. You like the under in the Cavs game. I guess Vegas is begging you to take the under just because of the Hawks style of play. Like you'd imagine, they kind of get into those 120 games, you would think. But yeah, that might be a play. I like it, KG.
Well, and Preston, we're going to get the bad O tonight from Cleveland on the back-to-back. Not a bad thought at all.
Yeah.
After they just blow up the scoreboard, maybe we're getting a freebie line there.
100%. And then the Washington kid, is it Coulibaly
or something like that?
Yeah, something like that, whatever it is.
Yeah.
His over 12.5 points, I will say, those are tough. Those are tough because Coulibaly could fully see LeBron James and just shrivel up and brick 6 in a row. So I'm like, I haven't seen enough film. Me personally, I don't know anything about him. So I just have to solely trust you on that, KG. And last one, Minnesota. Yeah. I don't know too much about over or unders in the 224, but I mean, I don't hate it. KG, you're a winner, so I might have to listen.
Lance likes it, I don't. You got to just trust it. Follow it blindly. It's usually good stuff when it comes to pro sports.
David Smirling. Justin Tucker is getting investigated for some shit with some massage therapists. Lol. Interesting, Jack. Do you want to dive into that real quick?
I would prefer to read one article first before I start levying accusations to one of my Baltimore Ravens.
No, 100%.
I would like just one article, even a tweet. I'd like to read a tweet before I get into that, but we will have that on Monday.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, because my initial thoughts, I mean, we gonna fault a guy for wanting a little action, but Justin Tucker, he had an off season this last season, very off, according to his standard. And I think he's known this is going to come out prior to the season. So I think it was a mental thing, and that's why you see Justin Tucker had such a down year up to his standard. But hey, obviously I don't know what's true and true, and I'm just going to kind of jokingly go about it. Hope if it's that serious, I feel for the victims, but if it's just, people trying to get paid, then what you're doing to a great man is brutal. Well, what I know it to be a great man, but we'll see. Let's get away from the topic. I need a little more time to think about it.
It's not our job. We can't bet on the reality of this.
Yeah.
No reason.
So we'll see. And then KG Lojos, you need to donate to charity every time you say Bronny James. KG, we might have to look into that. Hey, you bring it up more than us. Yeah, how about you put your money where your mouth is? You'll match every payment we make to charity because of Bronny James. KG Lil Joe's and Wanna Parlay is teaming up with the American Red Cross for any time Bronny has said we're donating $1. How about that?
I love it.
That's so awesome. All right. Oh, do you want to dive in? You kind of talked your other NBA bets that you were liking, but do you want to jump on?
I was just kicking them back to you because we covered the games. And then I got into my Lakers take just to have some fun. But I think we're ready to hit it. I think it's a good show. We're coming up on our hour mark.
Yep. All right. Hit us with the outro.
This was the Wanna Parlay podcast, the official podcast and home of all things Wanna Parlay, granddaddy of the $2 parlay and the world's richest parlay, the platform that makes parlays for the working American man, because that's what we are and that's what we care about. Thanks again to Roro for coming on the show, talking a little ball. Hopefully we get him back on to talk soccer in the future. If you want to check out his profile, let me make sure I rattle that off again, because my man is lighting up the pick four the last 2 weeks. Absolutely lighting it up. It is Roro1850. Roro1850. If you want to go track down some free money, that guy is rolling right now. And also, big congrats to Scarcella17. Won $200. We've got texts out to Scarcella, anxious to get him on the podcast. Melina Picks 175. Canes 026, another one of Arts Boys. Give us our best, KG. $150. Say what up to Folsky as well. Chase G 16. Winning 125. One Mad Raider. Told you, Smerling, we had your back. 175, baby. You can't hold this man down. And then it's good to see someone win the Parlay Royale again. Like the flyer says, you want to win $1,000 every day, you come to Wanna Parlay. My man Doorman did exactly that. I will have words with your HR department. It's absolutely bullshit and un-American and frankly unconstitutional and violation of your rights that you can't come on this show. This is our last January episode. We'll be back next Monday at our usual time, celebrating more Wanna winners and turning our attention to the Super Bowl. We'll also be that much closer to the drop takeover at Little Joe's on February 10th. Fingers crossed, Lance and I will be there, join KG, Art, and Bob. Rumors of one Mr. John Gruden appearance, as well as the good folks of Wanna Parlay and their Hermano Tequila Company, El Bendito Yankee. And that's February 10th, 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. You've got momentum with good decision-making so far this year. That is obvious in the very fact that you've listened to this podcast today. Do the right thing. Continue on the good decision-making path. Be at Little Joe's on February 10th. That is it. Lance, take us out.
All right. Appreciate everyone showing up, showing out. As Jack said, Monday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be live. We're going to be back. Super Bowl and a whole lot more. Appreciate you all, and we'll see you then. See ya.